Maimie became aware of the hour and requested they pick up where they left off tomorrow. Her wings were tired and she could tell Tatiana needed to process everything she heard thus far. Tatiana hugged her grandmother and made her way down the hall to her room, but realized that Gunther Goth was still in her room. The thought of Gunther's inanimate form staring at her while she changed into her sleepwear was disturbing. She immediately backtracked and asked her grandmother if she could sleep with her instead. Maimie? Would you mind terribly if I slept with you tonight? Gunther is...
But of course, come my sweet.
Maimie, would you mind singing me that lullaby I like?
Oui, mon amour.
Maimie adored her Mon Petit Chou. She knew she would do anything for her. If she could, she would take her panic and suffering away and allow her to choose whether or not she wanted to be Fae. Alas, that was not a possibility. She vowed to tell Tatiana everything she knew in great detail, because if any of Celeste's descendants would find a way to stop the curse, it would be her special angel. They went into Juliet's room and fell asleep as soon as their beautiful heads hit the pillow. That same evening, at the Goth's estate, Gunther Sr. and his wife Cornelia were in a fit of hysterics when they realized Gunther Jr. did not come home after school. The Goths were old money, and they pretty much owned the town with their power and influence. It was no surprise the police station began a missing persons search before the 24-hour rule. They told the police that they last saw Gunther Jr. as he left for the school that morning. The police officer asked Mortimer if he knew where his twin was, if he frequented any clubs after school.
No, officer, I honestly don't know what his after-school activities are. I'm usually a part of a different circle. I'm mostly with my girlfriend Nancy.
Yet there indeed was something. A slight chance he actually paid attention to his brother's boasting after all. Just when the policeman was about to excuse himself to search Gunther Jr.'s room, Mortimer approached him with some information that could potentially help him.
Officer, wait. I did overhear my brother brag about meeting with this girl in our science class after school. Her name is Tatiana. She's a hippie-looking brainy girl in our class. I think she lives in Lavender Lane on the same street as the bachelors.
The officer scribbled the new information in his notepad, then asked,
Were they dating?
No, I don't think so.
It wasn't like that. He wasn't very popular with the ladies. He must have needed her help, maybe tutoring or something.
Mortimer hated to throw his brother under the bus like that, but he was being honest.
That's all I know.
The cop thanked him for his witness report and asked them all to stay put until he searched Gunther Jr.'s room and heard back from the station. Mortimer was a chip off the old block, the brain of the family, and all the girls in town thought him dreamy, mostly because of his hoards of money, but he was debonair, and the fact that he was tall, dark, and handsome added to the mystery, no doubt, which made the girls label him as swoon-worthy. He was dating Nancy Landgrab, not because he was head over heels for her, don't misunderstand. Nancy was stunning, but she was also boring. All she ever wanted to discuss was hair, makeup, clothes, and the latest school gossip. Mortimer was not interested in those topics. He knew he simply dated her because his parents approved of her and because she was one of the most popular kids in school. Lame. He knew it, but wasn't that the way of the world? Mortimer was truly suspicious of his twin brother's sudden disappearance. They were never friends, but they also didn't completely despise each other. When Gunther told him he had his eye on Tatiana, he was decidedly disappointed, as she was the only girl in school that could compete with him academically and was in his eyes the most attractive. His parents would never approve of him dating beneath him, yet he would gladly rebel if it meant being with Tatiana. However, his brother claimed her first, and isn't that the brother's secret code? Don't like girls your brother likes, least you're a douche, which Mortimer prided himself in not being one. He was snobby, perhaps, but not a douche. There had to be some explanation to the story. and he decided he was going to go to Tatiana's house in the morning to ask her questions of his own. He would find his brother Gunther. It was now his priority. Mortimer heard of the unusual home Tatiana lived in, but never in his wildest dreams did he imagine such a colorful dwelling place.
It's like butterflies, unicorns, and rainbows threw up and died on this lot. Good grief,
Mortimer muttered. His senses were overwhelmed, as he was used to dark and somber colors back home, which was his preference. He made his way to the door and hesitated for a moment. How was he going to approach the sensitive subject with his classmate? Would he be blunt about it and ask her when she and his brother last saw each other? Did they go out on a date? Were they studying? He gathered his nerve and proceeded to knock on the recently refurbished door frame. He heard shuffling of feet from the other side of the doorway. He was half expecting Tatiana to answer the knock when a delightful elderly woman opened the door instead. She was wearing a hysterical purple t-shirt that bore a chick with a book and glasses. "Oui, can I help you?" Mortimer belabored his response. He was studying the elderly lady, quickly deciding she must have been a beauty in her youth. He could see the family resemblance.
"Yes, Miss Thibodeau. How are you? Is Tatiana home by any chance?"
"Oui, she is not feeling well though. Can I relay a massage?" Mortimer really loved the elderly lady's accent. He decided he could listen to it for hours and never tire of it.
"Yes, please, would you kindly tell her that I really need to talk to her about my brother, Gunther? He's been missing for almost an entire day now, and I think she may be able to help us."
Juliet eyed Mortimer up. He seemed like a very nice young man, not at all like the brother Tatiana turned into a figurine. This kid was respectable. She could feel it in the pit of her stomach. She instantly felt a bit of remorse for him, for she could see the pain he held in his shoulders and eyes for missing his brother. His family would have to endure Gunther's departure from this world. It was a bitter pill to swallow. It made it worse knowing that they were to blame. "Of course I will tell her, but only if you shake on it." Juliet couldn't help but be a little mischievous. Mortimer, confused by the request,
"Shake on what exactly?"
he thought to himself. Yet he took her hand only to find that she zapped him with a hand buzzer.
"Holy plum samples, what the heck?"
Mortimer rubbed his hand vigorously. Juliet laughed uncontrollably.
"Sorry, I could not resist. Come on in, young person. Tatiana is out back. Do watch your step,"
she sang with her incredible French accent. Mortimer didn't like surprises, but something about Tatiana's grandmother was settling. Even her weird sense of humor was agreeable. He walked through the colorful array of furniture and knickknacks, and was even more thankful for his parents' sense of style versus this one. It was just too happy for his liking. Tatiana was in her garden, her most favorite place in the world. She loved planting things and watching them grow. They were her babies, and she even once told her grandmother when she was a little girl that she sensed they loved her back. She made every effort to sing and talk to them, doting over them every opportunity she had. Mortimer was transfixed, watching Tatiana elbow deep in dirt. She was graceful and treated her garden with such delicacy and nurturing. He was so used to prissy girls who had everything handed to them. Watching Tatiana work in her garden was refreshing. He shook his head to focus on the task at hand. Mortimer cleared his throat before he spoke to his classmate.
"Tatiana, hello."
Tatiana was startled. She did not expect a visitor, especially not Gunther's brother, for heaven's sake. Something about his voice triggered an episode that immediately sent her head spinning. Her eyes yellowed, and the world went completely black. In place of her current reality were dark images like photographs. Mortimer's estate burning down with his parents trapped inside. She could feel the pang of the burn and was almost choking on the dense smoke when she snapped out of it by Mortimer's voice once again. Mortimer never saw her retinas change color, but while she was having her vision, she shook fiercely. He was sure she was having a convulsion from the fright of surprising her in her quiet place.
Bloody plumbobs, are you okay, Tatiana? I didn't mean to startle you.
Tatiana was shaking, out of sorts and confused. She simply replied,
Mortimer, I think your house is burning.